There is a piece of photography advice we hear all the time. In fact, we even talk a lot about it right on this channel. It's advice that's, I would call it intelligent, it's meaningful, and it's something that every photographer needs to consider. But here's the question: does every wildlife photograph actually need to tell a story? If the image doesn't tell a story, it's nothing more than a snapshot, just a record, just another picture of a bird sitting on a branch. But here's the problem: a lot of photographers use the word story without ever explaining what story actually means. A bird looked to the left. A fox walked through a field. An owl sat in a tree. Is that a story? Or are we forcing a narrative onto an image because we have been told that every good photo needs one? Some wildlife photos tell very powerful stories, but others succeed because just of their overall beauty, because of the beautiful lighting, because of the colors in the image, because of the atmosphere found in the photo, because of the shape, the mystery, the intimacy, or even its emotion. And when we insist that every photograph must tell a story, we may be misunderstanding what photographs are actually capable of doing.
But you're stronger than you know. You'll never be alone when everything feels dark around. Just look inside where light is found.
Welcome to the channel. I'm Jeff, and I am a professional wildlife photographer living in Charleston, South Carolina. This is a place for photographers who want to learn to create better wildlife photos, photos that are more compelling, more meaningful, and more emotional. Today, we are going to discuss one of the most repeated ideas in wildlife photography: the belief that every photo must tell a story. It's one of those phrases that sound so obviously true that very few people ever stop to really question it. Of course, photographs should tell stories. Stories are powerful. They create connections. They give meaning to what we are seeing. But does every wildlife photo really tell a story? And perhaps more importantly, does every photograph need to? I do not think it does. Some wildlife photos clearly contain a story, while some suggest a story. Some photos invite the viewer to invent a story, but others work for completely different reasons. A photograph can be powerful because it just creates a certain mood. It can be visually beautiful. It may reveal extraordinary detail. It may create tension. It may express solitude. It may simply allow us to admire an animal we rarely get to see. None of those things are lesser forms of photography. The problem begins when storytelling becomes another rule that photographers kind of feel like they have this pressure to obey. Before we can decide whether every wildlife photo needs a story, we must first define what a story actually is. Stories through a photograph might include the following, and that can either be by themselves or even in a combination, but they want a clear subject, a situation, a relationship, some sort of change or conflict, uncertainty, a consequence, or some sense of what happened before and what may happen next. Let's take a photograph of an osprey carrying a fish, right? This might suggest a simple story. The osprey was hungry and was hunting. It caught its prey, a fish. Now, it might be taking that fish back to a nest or maybe even just a perch, but that could be the story. What about a photograph or two of birds fighting over territory, right? This contains conflict. A parent feeding its chick shows a relationship. A fox moving through deep snow may suggest struggle or survival or maybe adaptation. An injured animal may raise questions about what happened and what happens next. These types of photographs, they naturally kind of contain a narrative, right? And these different elements of a narrative. They give the viewer clues. The viewer begins connecting those clues into some sort of sequence. Even though the photograph shows only one moment, the mind imagines the moments surrounding it. That is storytelling. But what happens when you consider a perfectly posed songbird in beautiful light against a clean background? What exactly is that story? The bird is sitting on a branch. The photographer, of course, took a picture. That is technically an event. But calling every event a story makes the word almost meaningless. Sometimes a photograph is not narrating anything. Sometimes it's just simply presenting something beautifully. Maybe some of the confusion comes from trying to make a single photograph perform the same function as of a film, a documentary, or even a written story. But a movie unfolds over time. The characters along the way will make certain decisions, the circumstances may change, and events will have consequences. But a single photograph does not unfold in that same way, because it freezes one fraction of a second. Sure, it can imply time, it can imply what came before, it can even imply what may have happened next, but it cannot fully explain the entire event unless the viewer already understands the context. Now, this doesn't make photography weak, it just makes it different. Photos can compress emotion, information, design, and atmosphere into one frame. It can show us a moment without fully explaining it. It can remain ambiguous. It can allow different viewers to experience it and respond to it in very different ways. When we demand that every photograph communicate a clear story, we may actually be reducing the photograph. We may force it to become more liberal than it needs to be. Not every photograph needs a beginning, middle, and end. Sometimes all a photograph really needs is to create a feeling. Wildlife photographers often confuse having an interesting subject with telling a story. A rare bird is not automatically a story. A predator is not automatically a story. The subject may create immediate interest, but interest and narrative are not the same thing. Imagine a bald eagle sitting on a branch against a beautiful blue sky. The eagle is impressive. It's recognizable. It may be beautifully sharp, but unless something within the frame suggests behavior, relationship, conflict, environment, or consequence, the image may not tell much of a story at all. It may simply just be a strong portrait of a bald eagle. And again, there is nothing wrong with that. The problem is not that the photograph lacks a story. The problem is pretending that it has one simply because the subject is powerful. That's a different thing. Now compare that with a photograph of a very common bird feeding its chick during heavy rain. This species isn't rare, may not even be beautiful, and the setting may not be exotic, but the relationship, the conditions, and the behavior do create a narrative. The image suggests care and survival, effort and vulnerability. The common subject may tell a stronger story than the rare one. A compelling subject can attract attention. A story, though, gives the viewer something to interpret. And while those are related, they're not identical. Some photos are about beauty, whether it be the lighting, the colors, fine detail, symmetry, or even movement. The photograph is successful because it gives the viewer an aesthetic experience. It invites appreciation. It allows us to notice the elegance of something that we may otherwise overlook. Other photos are all about mood. They may not tell us a strong story, but they create a very strong mood, right? A bird in the fog, a deer crossing a quiet field just before sunrise, a lone shorebird surrounded by empty space. Mood allows us to evoke very specific emotions. Maybe we experience loneliness, peace, uneasy, mystery, stillness, vulnerability, isolation, or maybe some calm. While the viewer might look at a photo with mood and invent a story, it doesn't need a story to be meaningful. Some photos are successful because they highlight some sort of design, right? As we all know, photography is a visual medium. Photographs work well when we highlight things like shape and lines and patterns and contrast and color and repetition, balance, textures, negative space, or visual rhythm. Highlighting design elements is just a great way to give your photos harmony. The image feels complete because the visual relationships simply work. The phrase "every photograph should tell a story" has become so common that photographers often repeat it automatically. But when advice becomes too broad, it stops being useful. What story? How is the story communicated? What visual evidence do you have to support it? Would the viewer understand the story without the photographer explaining it? If a photographer has to give a 5-minute explanation after the viewer looks at their photograph, there's a really good chance the story belongs to the photographer's memory rather than the actual image itself. This happens often. A photographer loves an image because they remember specifically how long they had to wait, how difficult the conditions were, how rare the encounter was, all of the obstacles that they faced and overcame to capture this particular subject. And there is obviously nothing wrong with the photographer feeling proud about their image for these reasons, but the viewer does not have access to those memories. And typically, they don't really care about them anyway. For an image to tell a story, it must create its own experience. Sure, a story behind an image can add value. There are some people who love to hear what the photographer overcame to capture it. But it isn't something that automatically exists within the photograph. And one last thought here. You don't want to be the photographer that provides a caption to manufacture a story, especially a story that the photograph does not actually support. A bird might appear to be looking sadly into the distance, and suddenly a photographer captions it, describing it as heartbreak, loneliness, or grief. But the bird may simply have turned its head. A parent bird may appear to have abandoned their chick. The photographer captions the scene as tragedy, but a moment later, the parent returned to their chick to feed them. It's imperative that as photographers, we use caution when assigning human emotions and dramatic motives to animal behavior with absolutely no evidence. So does every photograph need a story? And of course, the quick and short answer is no. Some photographs clearly tell stories. Some suggest them. Some become part of a larger story when placed in a series. But some photographs succeed because of their beauty, their mood, their design, their detail, their intimacy, their mystery, or their emotion. Not every photograph needs a beginning, middle, and end to be meaningful. It does not need dramatic behavior to be valuable. It does not need an exaggerated caption to feel important. And it does not need to pretend to be something that it isn't. Some of your images will tell a story, clear and simple. Others will ask a question. Some will just create a feeling. And many will show us something that is truly beautiful. What do you think? Do you believe every photo should or does tell a story? Or has this become an unrealistic belief in wildlife photography? Let me know in the comments below. If you're looking for a powerful photo editor, I highly recommend checking out DxO Photolab 9. This is the software that I personally use and trust for all of my photo editing, especially because of its industry-leading noise reduction and their AI masking tools that just make editing faster, more precise, and more consistent. Now, if you'd like to try it for yourself, use the link that I've provided in the description below. And if you decide you want to purchase it, don't forget to use my code MAGNOLIA at the time of checkout, save you 15% off on your purchase. You can also download their 30-day free trial. Test everything out for yourself firsthand with no restrictions. And if you really want to learn how to get the most out of Photolab, then you need to check out my DxO Photolab Mastery Class at magnoliaphotographysc.com/store. Link in the description for that as well. In this course, I walk you through everything from how to apply noise reduction and sharpening to how to use those AI masking tools. This course includes some free stuff as well, including my full DxO preset collection for wildlife, portraits, nature, and landscapes. And hey, I want to take a moment just to thank you for stopping by today and joining me for today's video. I hope you got something out of this. I truly appreciate you carving some time out of your busy lives to spend it with me. But before you go, one thing that you might want to consider doing is checking out this next video right here.